Hi, I'm Scott Shellady here for Traders Exclusive in London at the CME Group, and boy, oh boy, this week has been a cracker already. Let's just do a quick review, and I'd like to talk about what the networks asked me to talk about, and this is what they've been asking, right? First of all, we saw Trump's Supreme Court ruling go in his favor with the extra vetting of immigrants. That was a boost to him, and then the next day he had a union-busting Supreme Court decision as well. And then the next day we had Anthony Kennedy say that he's going to retire from the Supreme Court, which could possibly be a conservative Supreme Court for my lifetime. These are how big these things are, so that's very significant there. Does that affect the economy that much? Well, I would suppose conservatives would have the economy much more in front of their faces than, say, liberals, but we'll see. It doesn't necessarily pretend to be the case, but at the end of the day, those are some big wins for the president, and maybe that helps him get some wind underneath his wings for some other things that he's been trying to do. Another thing, obviously, you can't talk about Trump without talking about tariffs, and that's happening all over the place. He's drawn a hard line with North Korea on nuclear weapons. Now he's trying to draw a hard line with, say, China and the European Union on tariffs. We'll see how that goes out, but they go into the European Union ones. The tit-for-tat tariffs go into effect here this evening, so it'll be interesting to see what happens coming out of Washington there as well. So that's another big topic we've been talking about. And ultimately, I don't think they're going to last that long. I think maybe the China one is going to be lasting a lot longer than, say, the European one, because I definitely think that Europe's going to be in the crosshairs here. There's going to be some sort of collateral damage, but this is what I think is going to end up being the short term. So it's mainly, I think, a China thing. We'll see how that works out. But China, Donald Trump thinks he's got the upper hand there, and maybe he does. They've come across to being a little bit of a paper tiger to him, and I think that with the tariffs that he's imposing, he thinks with the 3.8% unemployment rate and a rumored great GDP number coming around the corner, he's going to play his cards now, and he's going to play his cards aggressively now. So that's really what we've got going on. As far as the markets go, yeah, you've seen the 10-year yield come into the low 280s. That's interesting, right? We've seen equities kind of tail off here. We've taken the tops out of them. And a lot of that obviously has to do with the tariffs, but we've also seen oil kind of come up. That's the last thing that I want to talk about. Oil is at a 3.5-year high, and we had some drawdowns in inventories. It was the biggest miss since, I think, 2016. We were looking for, say, 3 million. We came in at over 9. So those types of things, both fundamentally and geopolitically, are causing that oil to ramp a little bit. And what do I think about that? You know what? That can be good for the U.S. and U.S. economy to a point. And then it starts to retard growth, and it starts to slow our growth, and kind of takes the top off of where we can get our growth prospects to. So keep that in mind too. So tons to talk about. We got Washington, we got geopolitical news, we've got tariffs, we've got oil, we've got it all happening, especially with the 10-year. So keep an eye on everything. It's an exciting week. I think we're going to be in for a very volatile summer. I'm Scott Shellady here for Traders Exclusive. I'll see you again next week.